And welcome to another episode of Constructing New Walden City. My name is Dr. Wasabi. In the last episode, we toured the New Walden City State House slash obviously Town Hall, where all of the government stuff sort of goes on. So in today's video, we'll be going a bit more downtown to this awesome apartment complex. So folks, we will be touring all manner of builds in this series. So if you do like what I do, then obviously like this video and subscribe. So without further ado, let's get into the video. And so, let's start this build off. So, we are in the sort of southern downtown district, basically where the old buildings meet the new high-tech versions. So, downtown, the high-tech district is going to be over there, sort of separated by this sort of on-ramp for the cars and so on. So, this building is definitely out of the way. We still have to do a bit of excavation for these mountains, but apart from that, this is sort of where the city kind of gradually declines in height. This building is a mix of essentially high-tech and old-timey architecture, so I thought, hey, why not make that a sort of fusion between these two styles? Because in the real world, it does kind of make sense. You know, a lot of these older buildings would have been renovated with more modern architectural styles, and given how these styles in Fallout are very much high-tech, I thought, hey, why not make this as a sort of build between the two styles? And overall, I think, yeah, it's done pretty well. Pretty good exploration. There's a few things I could have done better, but again, these builds are always for posterity, just to show how far I've gone and what needs to be done afterwards. But enough blabbering on from myself. Let's get into the build. So first of all, the entrance is just off the road. Like so. There's a few ramps going down to the sort of highway intersection, like so. So this is like the main entrance, the lobby, so to speak. So this is where most of the renovations have gone. A nice little high-tech lounge, and so on, with its own sort of custom carpet and lighting. For the wallpaper, I've chosen a selection of regular sandstone, smooth and cut sandstone, and of course white concrete, because I want any decorations after sort of building on top of the wall to have a sort of pop, which we do see over here, these nice little portraits and so on. So we do walk around here. We have this sort of a key area where you kind of check your mail. This is something that apparently apartment people do. I sound incredibly ignorant saying that, but I have done my research on this building. Again, it does depend on the apartment complex. If it's a bit more like low income, then it might be like, you know, you just get a key and it just gets to your door with like a little mail slot. But sometimes you have these sort of walls of mailboxes outside for any recipients. And of course, before we leave the lobby, we have a elevator which goes up to the top floor and the roof for any sort of like maintenance people who do need to work on this building. Because I imagine when you're sort of carving into the old structure, there is quite a lot of maintenance that does need doing, depending on the style and the sort of materials that you use. So let's go up to the first floor. So that was the ground floor. Confusing, I know. I kind of had to get that through my head before making this video. But yeah, let's go to the first floor. First thing, obviously, we have the continuation of the sort of carpet style. And so on. This is very much going to be copied throughout the other floors, with the exception of the penthouse, which we will get to at the end of the video. Also, folks, I do apologize if you hear like popping in the background. It is close to bonfire night where I am at the moment. Well, at the time of this recording, so you will kind of hear like little pops, like little, you know, and so on. So I do apologize. I can't really control that. So I just want to make you aware of that before we go into further of the video. So of course, for the first floor, we have a little seating area, maybe for some visitors. God knows that these stairs will just destroy an old person's hips. So obviously this leads into a corridor with, again, another little painting. I made sure to have a lot of paintings and stuff like that in the apartment complex, because it is quite a fancy place. Being such a new renovation, so I thought, hey, this will be kind of a not an upper class, but I would say more of like a middle to upper class kind of a condo, what have you. If we go to the right, we have this sort of broken down elevator, which is just part of some of the environmental storytelling that I wanted to do. It's always a good build, I think, when you can add these little stories, especially in the outsides of the buildings, because oftentimes, you know, you'll walk in, obviously this is like the first floor apartment, you'll think, oh, this is nice, but who actually lives here? What's their story? So you can always sort of build stuff up using the environment around you to sort of tell a story, whether it's quite a mundane one, like an elevator breaking, or, you know, some kind of like drama happening with a couple. But anyway, enough blabbering on. Here is the first floor apartment room. So quite spacious. Obviously, we have the good use of the high-tech structure, having a massive window overlooking the sort of the city. And my word, what a view. Obviously, my render distance is about 12. So you can see just about the edges of the bank over there. And of course, the New Walden archive. But again, this is what a bit more money costs you in the Fallout universe. Obviously, a much bigger room, a lovely sort of 50s kitchen set, alongside sort of fridges, you know, a sink, oven, what have you. And if we go over here, we have the bathroom. So this is very much for like young couples, rather, who have just like started out, maybe have a nice job, a nice defense contract at West Tech and all that money. So going from the corridor into the sort of kitchen and living area, we have the bathroom. So obviously very sort of bathroom-esque materials. We got lots of prismarine, dark prismarine, quartz, that kind of like cleanly attitude that I really want to go across the bathrooms. So obviously we have like the mirror, and obviously we have the shower plus bath. And going through here, we have the master bedroom. So obviously it's for a couple, so it's big enough for 2 people. You have a little seating area over here, some cupboards, and some shelving for some decorations over here. It doesn't really have to be anything like too detailed. There's like a few nice blocks that'll kind of contrast against each other is usually the best when you're trying to be a bit more minimal, in my opinion. So that is the first floor going up. So for the second floor, it is very similar to the first one. Obviously we have the carpets, the lighting, and so on. The layout will evolve continuously as we get further to the top, because obviously they've basically like knocked down half this building to build it up again, essentially. So there will be little changes in the layout. So for example, the corridor downstairs, I think, I was kind of forgetting where I was for a second. It does go to the fully to the end, but because obviously this is connected to the high-tech part of the building, it kind of stops a bit earlier on the second floor, and of course goes into the other apartment, which is a bit more different. I do like to have a sort of different layout for each one, otherwise it does get a bit repetitive, I must say. So alongside the different layouts, it does allow for a bit more creativity in the different sort of objects you can put in here. So for example, we have a little cake display. So, you know, maybe your husband has made a cake for you, and like, oh goody, so you can put it in there for like a little display case, you know, that kind of like 50s like Motorama kitchen vibe, that kind of thing. Because, you know, you do, for my research, I have sort of looked into this, and, you know, there's sort of House of Tomorrow vibe. It is sort of part of that culture that you do want your kitchen to be as vibrant as you can, at least with like the wallpaper. You know, the atomic age at its finest. So of course, you know, the same sort of vibe as before. We got the television, we got the seating, we got the dining area, and of course, as we go into here, we have the bathroom, and of course the bedroom. You know, little changes, but mostly the same in terms of sort of concept. You know, these are apartments, so they will have their own bit of originality alongside it. And of course we have the elevator over here, but obviously this one isn't broken, so they can still use that. And so, let's go up to the third and final floor. So this is where it really does start to change, because I think this is the penthouse of the apartment complex. So obviously a constant sort of design shift from the sort of bland whites of the second and first floors, and of course the lobby, evolving into this bright blue, light blue concrete and clay kind of mixture, which is what I was talking about the kitchen and these sort of atomic age wallpaper vibes. It's vibrant, it's pastel, it really sort of kicks out aesthetically, which is really what I wanted to do for this floor. So given as this is a penthouse, there is no sort of like waiting area or corridor. It's just like you go upstairs and bam, this is it. So you have this sort of sliding glass door, which takes you over to the sort of seating area for any guests. You go over here, and again, you have that lovely sort of blue against blue. So this is where the prismarine really sort of contrasts well, in my opinion. But obviously, you go into the kitchen, and you get a much better view of the city from this view, I must say. But obviously, there is one final floor, which I'll get to in a second. So obviously, very different aesthetic-wise in terms of the color. You got a lot of prismarine, a lot of blues, so that kind of like sort of forms in to the general aesthetic aesthetic, the vibe, so to speak. I know it's a terrible word when you're trying to describe things, but it's really what came to mind. So, going out of the kitchen, we have this sort of landing area, which goes into, of course, the bedroom. Again, same sort of color scheme, like so. A huge television, obviously, to kind of like give the penthouse vibes. You know, it wouldn't be a penthouse without a just shockingly big television in the bedroom. And of course, over here we have a very spacious bathroom. Obviously, the same sort of blocks used in the other bathrooms, because you know it kind of forms into the same thing, so you don't have to really change anything there. But obviously we do have the change in the colors, as I've previously stated about 50 times. But of course, the piece de resistance of this building is the penthouse bar. So this is essentially accessible to all people in the apartment complex, but of course it is sort of accessible through the penthouse, like so. Again, because this is part of a sort of like upper crust middle income sort of dwelling, there is a lot more trust given to the participants, so don't worry, I'm not giving like people an excuse to break in to the bar. So obviously you have a lovely view of the city, sort of high-rise living, so to speak. Obviously the buildings over there will be much taller and the views will be much grander, but in terms of this building, this is the height that it is going to get. So obviously we have a little television for like maybe sports or the news or what have you, and this lovely just atomic age retro bar. Now, obviously, there is a bit more to do in this kind of way, so I've got a bathroom to do, but apart from that, like 98% of this building has been done. A little bit like the town hall, so obviously there was a bit more that we needed to do over there, but if we kind of go outside, let me just break through here, we have the sort of roof access to the building, and of course, we do see where the sort of high-tech meets the old-fashioned. So we do have these kind of like clamps, these sort of satellites that's on the high-tech buildings, you know, stuff for television and so on. And of course, as part of the sort of design of the exterior of the building, we have this like massive for rent sign, which will be part of the sort of skyline advertisements that I do plan to do for the city. So part of the overall aesthetic for Fallout is not only the buildings, but the advertisements as well. So it's in the neon signs, you know, the advertisements, the sort of 50s Americana turned into overdrive. It's all kind of collective into one aesthetic. But of course, behind there we have the sort of staircase that goes from the lift into the sort of staircase that goes across the building for any like maintenance men that need to go over here and just sort of do some repairs and so on. And so, there we have it, folks, the apartment complex. So this will be episode 2 of Constructing New Walden City for Season 2. So I will try to get some more videos out through the November months, because it is quite a slow period, but, you know, I am planning in that way, so bear with me. I always love building these things off camera, then obviously showing them to you folks. So if you do like what I do, then please like this video and subscribe. My name has been Dr. Wasabi. I bid you a most pleasant good evening, good morning, or good night, and of course, as always, God bless.